Baseline Radio live on the air.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I sure can.
Welcome. So tonight we're talking about if a man pays half, if he's considered to be, I saw this on the internet. It said true or false. If a man pay only half, basically is he a roommate? So if you want to give us your feedback on that, and I think we need Prime on the line. So Prime, you need to hit us up right now, 813-421-2683. Because I know Leah have a lot to say right now.
Well, not really a lot. Just, with regard to the situation, I just don't think that. It's not even on my card. My bad. Hold on a second. So, no, not necessarily that I have a lot to say, but I have a lot of misunderstanding about it, because technically, if you're sleeping in two different rooms, you are roommates. If you happen to be sleeping in the same bed, there's another question that goes with that. Like, how are you roommates? Just because you pay half. Some people just like to have their own responsibilities.
Okay, so you're dating someone, you both live together, and all the bill that comes in and say, hey, here's my half of that, here's your half.
Mm-hmm.
So to you, that's not a roommate situation.
The general terminology of it is a roommate. That is definitely the general terminology. That is a roommate. Like, we don't, unless there's a spoken understanding between the two people. Because if there's a spoken understanding between us, like, hey, listen, we kicking it right now. We may be having relations or whatever, but, we just sharing this space. The general terminology of two people paying their half is a roommate.
Okay.
But if we're in a relationship, we share the same pillow and we share the same soap.
Okay. Well, if he said he's sharing the space, then that's a roommate.
Correct. That is the full definition of it. I mean, there's a roommate and then there's a roommate. Because if you're not married and you're living together, technically you're just roommates. Now, depending on if he's the mate in the room as well, it's completely different. Because, but there still comes with understanding that comes behind that. If there's no commitment between the two, whereas you have some kind of understanding of where this is leading, is there a road that this is going down, or we just happen to be two people that enjoy each other's company 24/7, and we pay half the bills to each other, yeah. Are both of our name on a lease? Yeah, we pretty much just roommates. Ouch.
Okay. So I guess you agree then. So it's, but I can see what you're saying. There has to be a conversation, but I don't know. I just feel like, as a man, and I just feel like certain things. Hold on 1 second. I think we have another call on the line. Baseline Radio live on the air. Baseline Radio live on the air.
Yeah, man, checking in Prime.
Oh, Prime. It's about to go down. All right, so Prime, it looks like Leah is agreeing that if the man only paying half, he's considered a roommate.
Then if you want to call him a roommate, you can call him whatever title you want to call him, At this end, we keep on confusing the generations and really trying to put certain things in place that, all right, literally the idea of a woman in a household not paying any bills at all is the housewife. You know what I mean? And the housewife runs the home, runs the house, runs the home. She can determine, she should be at a level where at some point she can determine how much is contributed by man, if she
Mm-hmm.
contributes, whatever. But, if it, I don't see how it makes sense in this day and age where people are coming and going. Um, People are coming and going. People are getting married, having weddings, getting divorced, and
Mm-hmm.
this burden of proof supposed to be okay. And why is it so tied to? Why is it so tied to? So many of the rules are tied to finances. So it's almost like, okay, all right, if I pay all the bills, then I am the big man and I can do any other bullshit that I want to do in terms of, and it comes down to sometimes varying levels of abuse and all the rest of it.
Wh-
So it's like, I think sometimes we end up prioritizing the wrong things.
That's what my problem is. Is people prioritize the wrong things. In this day and age, everybody want a title. Everybody want to know who we are. Everybody want to know what we're doing. Everybody, we know where we are. We know where we're going. Statistically speaking, if you're not married and you live together, whether you share the same pillow and soap bar or not, you are considered a roommate, right? If both of you have to sign a lease every year and one of you have the opportunity to sign off the lease, you are my roommate. If we have this commitment, this conversation where we are in this committed relationship and we know what we doing, and I'm working and you working, and in today's bills, 2022 bills, both of us have to pay something. Somebody have to. One person got the lights, the cable, the internet, the house mortgage, and one person got
Something.
everything else going in between. He said, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're roommates, in the sense of the definition. But if if we're not married and we just shacking, yeah, everybody outside looking at us like, oh, there go her roommate is. They might know that that's my man. They might know that this is girl and everything. But in the eyes of paper, we are considered roommates, right? Just like in the eyes of
Very
paper, you're
simple.
considered husband and wife, as opposed to like my aunt. My aunt has been with the same man for 57 years. These people are not married. These people are not legally on paper in courthouse paperwork. They didn't go to the Mary and get married. They in
Common
London,
law.
so they
Common law.
right. But see, only common law exists in one state in the United States now. So commonly, people call them husband and wife, but they're not technically anything. Like if he die off, if there's no life insurance policy or no will or anything that gives her anything, she has to leave. That house is in his name.
True, true.
So in the eyes
You
of his
know.
kids, that's just his
And
long
so
term roommate.
right. And so even and from that standpoint again, priority again, I think we had this
Hmm.
discussion sometime before where again, you know, so okay, we're not doing the marriage thing, okay, no problem. Because what the marriage does is give you an automatic 50-50 split anyway. You know what I mean?
In some
It
places,
gives you
in some
it
places.
gives you well much yeah, most of the well enough places it's almost like an
Hmm.
automatic 50-50 split, right? Because if when divorce time, even if one started the marriage, um, even if the female, I think there are some females paying what they call it, paying alimony now and stuff like that. You know,
Hmm.
there's some split that takes place post marriage. If the marriage separates, then there's a split. Then, I don't know, man. The emotional thing of okay, we're all in, and yeah, that is all good and well, but there's gonna come a point where the functional part of it has to be taken care of. And finances is one of the biggest has been statistically one of the bigger deal breakers or causes of separations and divorce. So,
Absolutely.
so let's put the financial prudence on the table, man, and everybody just have an open discussion. Because if I am making 50K a year and you are making 50K a year and we're living together, what's our mission?
Right.
Do
But see,
I
that's what I
spend my
believe that a
whole
lot of. Hmm.
yeah, continue.
So
Continue,
I'm with you
continue.
when you're right, because see, I know where you was going from there. I don't believe one person should become poor to make another person happy. So if I'm working, like you said, if you're making 50K, I'm making 50K. We should have some kind of equal divide, whether or not it is where okay, you're paying the household expenses wherein you pay the mortgage or whatever, whatever, whatever. My same contribution should go to our savings because we're supposed to be building something together. But I'm a firm believer in wills and testimony as well. So if we're in a long time, me personally, I've been divorced and I had to pay child support for kids that wasn't mine. So I've been in a position where I'm like, I don't understand this. But so right. So I can understand. I don't believe in child support. I do not believe in child support. But the thing about it is, I've been in a position where I've been divorced. So marriage is not something that I'm like, oh, jump it over the roof. Oh, we'll be together. We've been together 6 years. Oh, he's not asking me to marry him. Please do not right now. I need some time, some space, some understanding. But if we're together for 6 years, at some point in time, we've had a clear understanding of what we're doing. What are we doing? Not necessarily who are we. We know who are we to each other. You know what I'm saying? Whether I'm your bedmate, your roommate, your buddy, your mate, whatever. You see, I already know what it is I'm doing. But if we're living together and we're sharing each other's existence in the same household and we sleep in the same room, we need to have some kind of understanding that, listen, if things go awry, you don't know when somebody's going to drop down. So I need to know what kind of protection I have or what kind of protection you'll have. So to me personally, I think that a lot of things come down to the basic understanding of who we are to each other. Do you consider me your roommate? Is there a possibility you might come up in here with a Sarah or Samantha, because we not like that, or will I come in here with a Ted or a Bob because we not like that, so it's a lot. But see, everybody want a title. I know your name.
Yeah, the title game is overworked.
Definitely. Overworked and overrated.
Okay. So, I mean, I can just listening to the conversation, I can honestly say that it comes back down to just having that communication and that understanding. And what you said, Leah, is right. You have people that have been together for so many years and not, buying by any contract or anything. So, yes, it can be a roommate for all those years, because when marriage in play, it's different. I mean, me personally, it's not to say you're gonna just do everything, but I feel like as a comes back to title. As a man, I just feel like, okay, if there's a mortgage, right? All right, you're gonna take care of that. The lady may do the other stuff, but you just want to make sure the main thing, the roof over the head, is covered. And it can be a situation where the man probably doesn't make, the same, maybe making less than the lady. So he's probably not even able to cover the mortgage. But at least just taking control over that. So it's not a situation of, okay, here is my 300 to put towards a mortgage because you make more. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think a lot of it comes down to if both of them working as well. I mean, if two people working, there should be some contribution from both ends. Not necessarily like I didn't pay the mortgage. I didn't pay the mortgage. I didn't pay for the house insurance. I didn't pay the car payments. I didn't pay the car insurance. I paid the grocery bill, the light bill, and the gas bill. So because I cooked, my house was always tended to. His kids was always, well, I'm not saying his kids because at the time they were our kids and I still call them my kids, but I tend to the kids, go school this way, that way, all activities or whatever, they need cleats, they need tennis rackets, they need tutus, so these things, so that was my part of contribution. It was never equal, never equal to what he contributed to the household. But he, as this man, felt that, listen, I have a responsibility to be a protector, a provider, and a father. And then his last resort was to come be a husband. And that was how we prioritize things, because at the end of the day, these kids need direction. They need a roof over their head. They need food on their back. I need somebody who I know I can count on. Hey, listen, the car broke down. I'm in the middle of I-75 over here on Fletcher. not in the best position. It's raining, and I need somebody that I know I can count on. But he felt like I need to make sure you always have a house, you always have a car, you always have food in your belly, you always have, clean clothes on your back. And
Yeah.
it really just depends on who you're dealing with. A lot of these dudes, and I'm gonna call them dudes because they're not men. A lot of these dudes don't believe this.
You just mentioned something, and I just want to tap into that. You said you were paying child support for kids that not even yours, right? Okay, so you married someone and they have kids prior, right?
Right.
So you become
Mhm.
the stepmom. You become basically their mom, depending how
Mhm.
long you've been in their life. These kids you've probably been in their life for a lot of years. So after the
23.
three,
23.
23. Okay, so that's basically your kids. Because after 23 years,
Exactly.
yeah. So after the divorce, do you still be a
I got
pro?
held with child support, right? I got
Right,
held with child support for 5 years because the mother felt that since I had two of them, one of them from the time she was 15 months, and one of them from the time she was 18 months, and the other one was she was already 10. So because the mother felt that I had these children and she had relinquished her rights to him directly. So he was the sole parent when we went for the divorce. In the divorce decree, it said that I had to pay child support for 5 years because at this point I am now the custodial parent.
okay. And did you remain in those kids' life?
I still am, yes,
Okay, that's good.
absolutely. I just paid for school books. Oops.
Yeah, that's good. So yeah,
That's a
finance.
tall order.
It's hard. Let me tell you. You know how hard it is to accept that you are no longer in this person's life who breed these kids. The mother is now stepping in as the parent, and I gotta pay these two people. Not just me. Oh well, I'm gonna take care of the kids. No, I had to pay these. I
Yeah.
don't
So
Who
cuss, but let
filed?
me tell you something.
yeah. So
Who filed for it? So why did you file for divorce? Just asking. If you don't want to say, you don't have to.
Oh, because he had another child.
Mm.
He was active. It was active military, and he decided, because he had to go stay across the water. And I clearly told him we were moving. You know how hard it is to keep transferring schools for three kids, transferring households for three kids, trying to find a good neighborhood, trying to do it all. At first, he was only making $1,300 a month when he first got into the military, and then he was up to $7,500 a month, and he was only sending home like maybe $1,600, to take care of everybody. And I got a job still trying to take care of three little girls, trying to raise them to be grown women and understand that all men don't leave. And then you over here and you go breed Karen?
and you
No
just
way.
and you just tap into something again where you're saying all men don't lead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was challenging. It was hard. It was hard. It took 8 years because you cannot divorce a military person while they're deployed. It took 8 years for me to get that divorce.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
But
Prime,
yeah, no.
Prime, do you have any final comment?
I'm bold. I struck out after after the fourth child, after the fourth child, and
Listen, I can
really
deal with a
started.
lot of things.
And
I can't hold no man pants open. I can't
Yeah.
hold no man pants closed. But what you're not going to do is
but
bring no
again,
kid home to me.
yeah, again, traditionally, and that sounds like a traditional disposition where the grandmas back in the days, you know, um, understood or made it clear that as best possible, try to avoid bringing home a child, you know,
Mm-hmm. Because I
especially
can't
for
tell
the
you what, listen,
traveling.
even the most loving husband, a man is never going to leave his wife. A man is never, look at Vibes. Vibes married 17 years. The man never going to leave his wife. Completely committed to his wife. I'm not saying that you'll do it, Vibes, but I'm just using an example. But even this man here, he go out there and he pull his pants down in somebody else's yard. As long as there's no picnic come back from the yard, we don't have no problems because what I don't know is not going to kill me. But you can't hide
No
no
picking, no
baby.
disease. No picking, no
Right.
disease.
Listen, you come back with a disease. What? What? Oh God, let me get off this lane. Hold on. What? Disease?
No,
I wish
no
I wish
picking, no
I could
disease.
I could deal with a kid before a disease. You come back with a disease, it's life is done. Forget a divorce.
It's a funeral arrangement right now.
And
When I, and I'll pay for it, all cash.
8 years to divorce, and then child support. Man,
Yeah.
that's a tall order. What state is that? Let me avoid that state.
North Carolina, Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't play the radio. They like these your kids. New York, New York don't play these your kids, and they was born in New York. That's what the problem was. These kids was born in New York.
Mm.
Once you accept them as yours, they're yours.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not the kid's fault because that's why, like, when they said I had to pay child support, like I told them, I'm not going to fight you on the child support. I'm going to fight you on the amount that I'm paying because I have an obligation to the kids. So in my divorce decree, I wrote in, I will pay for school. I will pay for school activities. I will not pay more than $200 a month to two grown people who decided they want to have three kids separate, have somebody else raise the kids for some 10 years, and then turn around and y'all want to get back together and I'm supposed to? No way.
So I assume you were the breadwinner in that relationship.
For a good while.
Okay.
For a good while, I made the most money, but then he started making $2,500 more than me a month, and I was like, hold on. But he bought the house. He paid the mortgage, even from afar. He paid the mortgage.
Okay.
You know, he paid the home insurance. He paid the car payments. We had two cars. He paid the car payments. He paid the car insurance. I paid the little stuff, lights and internet and water and the gas bill and make sure that there's food in the.
Yeah, but the big
He came
stuff,
anytime he came.
was 3 kids.
Yeah, exactly. And I made sure that they had Christmas, they had birthdays, they had New Year's Day, they had Valentine's Day. You know, we got, you know, because at first we got married on Skype before we had an actual wedding, which I didn't want. But we got married on Skype.
So Leah, I have a question.
You didn't want a wedding, or you didn't want a wedding on Skype?
Hold on.
I didn't want a wedding.
Hold on, Prime. I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question coming from the chat room. Lachena wants to know: did you have kids with him?
I did. My daughter died.
Once again, thank you all. Prime, thank you. Leah, thank you for sharing your story, your truth. I think it's a lot of courage, and from this we can see that communication is very important. Discussing finance is very important. In a relationship, and as tonight's topic, was basically just true or false. If the man decide to pay half, if he's a roommate, and just from that, we've learned so much tonight.
Yeah, a lot of legal stuff and all.
Yeah, so, and
I'm gonna say only thing I say is when it comes to relationships, commitments, and stuff, communication is great, but you literally have to write this stuff down because if once it's written, it is rule. So you have to write this stuff down. Like, this is what our obligations are. Because nowadays, unfortunately, we're dealing with this new young-minded people who, they just feel that everything is supposed to come to them one way. And then females want to be back and go, oh, well, you're supposed to pay all the bills. Bro, he's not working. What is he paying with?
How is he paying? Ever.
Right. So, I fully believe that finance is the number one conversation. Listen, these people out here want to be just shelling off their body, just fling and stuff about the place, and then want to turn around and say, oh, well, he's a POS. Oh, he's nothing. He's this. Hello, he didn't buy you a can of Coke when you was thirsty on Thursday. What made you think that he was going to take care of a household?
True.
But, yeah, this was a good topic because I was listening. I was like, oh, I had to